Hurry up, Pip. Mom wants to say a little goodbye. Everything okay in there?
Oh, hey, Zep. Just finishing out my packing.
Yeah, sure you were. I'm really having a hard time putting my thoughts together about the new Gen 5 miniseries on YouTube called Tell Your Tale. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. And my question for all of you is, should you watch it? Do you want to watch it? If you like MLP and fun, quick, lighthearted stories, sure, do it 100%. It's wholesome and even funny at times. But do not watch it if you're wanting something of, like, high quality. Don't watch it if you want something really high quality, because it's not. Tell Your Tale is a very low-budget miniseries, and it's very obvious that it's low budget. The animation is not very good at all. It's just not. It's just not very good. The movements seem very stiff at times and almost scary at others. It's very creepy. It's like an uncanny valley type deal there. It can be very weird at times. But this isn't about art style. That's a whole other thing. It's just a shame that we couldn't get slightly better animation for this miniseries. As for the art style, I'm not a very big fan of it. Mostly everything is fine, honestly. Basically everything about it is fine, but the legs, they're very, very weird. Everyone has been saying this ever since they teased it, ever since they showed the first images of it. The legs just look very weird. They just look, they're impossible to overlook, honestly. They're impossible to overlook even when watching all 4 episodes. There's some characters like Izzy and Hitch who don't have like the weird fingers. Like, they don't have the weird finger legs, because all the other legs look like fingers for some reason. Their legs don't quite look like fingers because they're a little bit bigger and they kind of look like actual hooves. I don't know why they didn't just do that for all the characters. Fucking weird. I don't know. But they look like fingers basically all the time when they're standing, and even sometimes when they're walking or whatever. But when they start moving them around, it kind of starts looking like arms. It starts looking like actual arms that just don't have hands on the ends of them. It's very creepy. I don't like it at all. It's fucking terrifying. I don't know why they went with that style, but it's not for me. Now, I know a lot of people have problems with the so-called Cal art style and everything like that, but honestly, I could care less. I really do not care at all about this Cal art style. It's not that ugly to me, and it's not that distracting either. And the thing about it too is if you go back to Gen 4 towards the end of the series, and you look kind of at certain expressions and stuff like that that they make towards the end of that series, you kind of start realizing that Cal art style was kind of slipping in there a little bit towards the end of that series anyway. So, like, I'm honestly not surprised we're getting a Cal art type style for this 2D version of Gen 5 or anything like that. Now, like I said, I don't have any negative feelings towards that. I really don't. I'm not a super huge fan of the rounded bouncy castle type styles or anything like that, but it's really not that bad. And what I mean by that is, like, everything is super rounded. Like all the characters look like they're in a bouncy castle, or that they are like made of like a bouncy castle type material or something like that. It's not distracting, but it's something that I've noticed, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's not that bad either. So, you know, take of that what you will. The show really has a lot of that too. It's not the worst thing either, but it also makes it more childish and things like that, which I guess is not the worst thing ever. Again, since it's really more directed towards them, it's targeted towards children and everything like that. So it's really not the worst thing either that it has those kinds of styles and things like that, because it's good for them. It's good for the kids. On to the writing part of the series. I personally think it's kind of good. It's not that bad. I mean, it's very similar to the style of writing that we had in Gen 4, but more sped up. It's sped up to meet that like 5-minute requirement. That seems to be a requirement anyway. I'm not sure if it is a requirement, but all 4 of these episodes were 5 minutes long. Because it's sped up to meet this so-called 5-minute requirement, you run into a couple of problems. Mostly that some problems the characters run into and that they have to solve are just solved very quickly. There's like moments, I think it was in like episode 3 or 4 or something like that, where Zip is like, has this like school or whatever where she's teaching these people to fly. They do that so quickly. It's done so quickly. She like is about to give up, and then she just immediately doesn't give up. It just happens too quickly. Things like that, you run into problems like that because it's 5 minutes and you can't really get around that. So I think it's good the way it is, but it would be much better if it was longer, of course. Another problem that really comes from this 5-minute time limit is a character development situation. We don't really get much character development. There's not really much character stuff in general. All of them are just one-dimensional. They have one dimension to them, one personality, and it's super exaggerated, and that's it. Maybe they could have given them more complex personalities and multi-dimensional stuff like that or whatever with a 5-minute restriction, but I can see why that wasn't done. It's very difficult to do that within a 5-minute time span, and this is low budget and seems to be more for fun than anything. So I can see why they did that, but it kind of sucks that it had to be done that way. Now, because of the way the characters are written, I ended up not liking many of them, and I ended up loving some of them way more. For example, Hitch. I loved him the most, honestly, because he had the least amount of screen time and stuff like that. I don't know why. I don't know why I liked him so much, but he had the least amount of screen time, and maybe that was why. I don't know. I also ended up liking Zip way more than I did in the movie for some reason. Maybe it's because we got to learn a little bit more about our childhood. I don't know. But I also ended up disliking Pip because she was an exaggerated ego. Maybe not even exactly just an ego, but like it's just an exaggerated vlogger influencer type situation with her, and it's kind of and stuff like that. It's really weird. It's almost like an exaggerated version of Rarity from Gen 4 or something like that. It looks really weird. It doesn't play right for me, because in the movie Pip was more than just her fame. Sure, she loved that. She loved being in the spotlight or whatever like that. But she also cared about her kingdom and her family and things like that. She had logical reasons for the things that she did in the movie that some people may have called like selfish or whatever else like that. She had logical reasons for that. But in this miniseries, it's just so exaggerated, and it does not play well for her character at all. Now, she still seems to have those traits about caring for her kingdom and her family and everything like that, but it's way, way, way overshadowed by this exaggerated version that they've crafted for this miniseries. And one more thing about the characters, I also now hate Sunny and Izzy with the burning passion. I hate Sunny because I just fucking hate Sunny now, and Izzy, they've made it so fucking annoying. It is one of the worst characters now. A lot of people are gonna hate me for that, but this is just for this miniseries. They're gonna be way different for Gen 5, I'm sure. Now, for what this means for Gen 5 as a whole, I don't think it really means much of anything. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to affect how they're actually going to be in the main series or whatever like that. And I believe these stories will be canon, however, like these stories, like the 4 episodes that we've seen on YouTube. I think they're going to be canon to some degree, but I don't think the characters are going to have those same personalities and stuff like that. We're going to get 22-minute episodes for the main series on Netflix, and it's going to be in CG. And so they have much more time to flesh out these characters and make them more dynamic and interesting rather than just one-dimensional, exaggerated personalities and stuff like that. Something the 4 episodes that they released had in common was cutie marks. There seemed to be something weird going on with the cutie marks. I don't know if this is actually going to be something important or if this is just something that just happens for no reason and it's never going to be explored or anything like that. But at certain points, their marks seem to glow or do something weirdly magical or something, and it's very interesting because it looks like it's going to mean something, but I'm not sure it will, at least not in the mini-series. If it's going to be explored, it's going to be explored in the main series, I imagine, but I'm not really expecting it, if that makes sense, because honestly, you know, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything, but maybe it is, I don't know. Just keep your eye out for that, I guess, is the way to put that. So to end off things here, to end off my final thoughts and everything like that, here are my final thoughts on the Tell Your Tale mini-series on YouTube. It's a fun, goofy little thing, and it's a nice taste test for Gen 5. We get to see the characters, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be using the same voice actors, if I'm not mistaken, and things like that. We have an idea of kind of like the writing style that they might go for. Like it's going to be a little bit, similar to that, but it's going to be different too, so we got a little bit of a taste test for Gen 5 there. I think it's nice, but it shouldn't be taken seriously because it's not. This mini-series that they're doing on the side is just, it's not serious. It's not meant to be serious, and it's likely never going to touch on heavier topics or main series lore. We're never going to learn about lore and like what happened to Gen 4 or anything like that in this miniseries. At least I don't think we will, because that wouldn't make much sense to do there rather than just do it in the main series. Now, I think at most, there may be teasers to main series plot lines and things like that in this miniseries, but I don't think it's ever going to be anything big. And of course, there would most likely be references to it as well. Now, in all honesty, you could probably skip every single episode of this and not miss out on really much of anything. It's just for fun, and I don't think Gen 5 is dead on arrival just because this miniseries is not for you. If you don't like this miniseries, then there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a fun little wholesome thing that they're doing on the side. It's not the main series. The main series will be very different. It's going to be in CG. It's going to be on Netflix. It's not going to be 2D. The characters are going to be more dynamic and interesting and things like that because you're going to be able to flesh them out more. And honestly, it's just going to be better overall. At least that's all we can hope for. And that's it. That's all I have to say about this little thing here. I think they're wholesome and everything like that. That's my main thing about it. I think it's worth watching if you like those little wholesome, fun little things on the side. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.